I feel like I'm in like a 90s rap video with the look. This is the look. By the way, this is the Exorcist shirt. It's super big.
That's what she said.
So this is a book review of The Exorcist. Now, I watched the movie before I ever read the book, and this might be a weird fact, but I did not know it was a book originally. So I was like, I gotta read this book because the movie was pretty freaking scary. Granted, it was kind of ruined by like Scary Movie 2 a little bit because the opening of Scary Movie 2 is just so funny, but whatever. The other thing is I also saw this like weird dubstep of the original Exorcist, and it's like she's like flying and stuff on the bed, and it's just dubstep over it, so it's like it took away the creepiness from the movie. So like the experience of watching that movie wasn't as like terrifying as I was hoping it would be because gotta love media. So that's why I decided to read the book. And I'm not gonna lie, it is the scariest book I have ever read. Like last year I read The Exorcist, Hell House, and Amityville Horror. Now, when I read all three of those, I was like, all right, these are all gonna be really scary books. I read each of them the whole weekend. I read all of them. They were really short books, and I just couldn't put them down because just they are so spooky and scary.
No way.
And I was just amazed with how well written all three of them were. Anyway, so when I started The Exorcist, it was fine. It was kind of slow, which was fine because it was just giving you the idea of a little bit of story with the mom and the daughter and what's going on, the whole story. And while I was reading this, I was just thinking, I'm like, all right, I'm starting to notice all the signs of other movies that did possession, and I'm actually, noticing, oh, they're doing everything. This is where it's all coming from. Now, to my knowledge, I don't think there was any like other possession movies like The Exorcist or like books before The Exorcist. I could be wrong. Let me know down below. That'd be kind of cool. With this, I was starting to see all the things like the little girl was like having like a imaginary friend, and they were like messing with the Ouija board, which blew my mind. Is like the mom was just cool with it the whole time. She was just playing with the Ouija board. Granted, the mom did say at the beginning that she was like not religious. So it's like, still. And while I was getting through this, I was noticing a lot of those things going on, and it was fine. Like I said, the first part of this book was just kind of like slowly getting there. And this book is like 350 pages, so it didn't feel slow, but like it did, if that makes sense. The pacing was fine. The little girl gets like possessed. That's when things get wild. I remember when I was reading this, I was like, all right, when is it gonna get like wild? And they had the father come in, the priest. He was the younger priest that they introduced at the beginning of the movie, or the book. Mostly it's the book, and he is actually having doubts of his religion, and he has to go back to try and, you know, see God again, essentially, which is a really cool concept because it's like a lot of the times when you read books that involve religion and priests, none of them really question their own faith. So when you have this guy, I'm sorry that I'm blanking out on names. I don't know why I am. But when you have this young priest and he's just like actually like doubting his own religion through this whole book, it's actually just really deep, and it's another layer to this. So when he actually sees the little girl the first time, it's like he feels that power. You feel that presence the first time when the little girl is actually possessed in the book. It is so terrifying. Like it really sets the tone of how quickly it is. And of course, throughout this whole book, a lot of people, this is my biggest pet peeve, but it also makes sense that a lot of people, when you read these books, especially during that time, a lot of people will say it's not a possession. It's more of just, multi-personality disorders, stuff like that. And I always thought that was interesting because a lot of people would say, oh, it's a scientific reason. It's not actually from above. And that's why I thought it was a really interesting concept with this book, because early on, the mother was taking her daughter to, you know, the hospital and stuff to try and figure out what is going on with her. And a lot of people were saying, oh, she's, it's a multi-personality disorder. And the mom's like, well, she's speaking different languages and stuff. And to me, that's a red flag. Instantly, I'd be like, okay. And her last resort was going to the church to figure this out. And of course, they have the young priest that goes, and he's like, holy crap, this is far worse. And then that's when they started trying to figure out an exorcism. And then they have one old priest. He's like 80 years old, and he's the only one that has done an exorcism. And I was like, oh god, here we go. And I'm not gonna lie, the moment this man shows up in the book is so powerful. The way the author wrote him, it was so insane. Like, I remember he showed up, and you're already starting to feel like, okay. But the moment the old priest faced the possessed daughter, it was wow. It was so powerful. Like, just the way the priest talked to the possessed girl and everything. I was thoroughly so surprised of just how powerful this was. It just felt so cool and different just reading that. And the rest of the book was just amazing. Now, I don't usually put fives in books like
Today, Junior.
I don't usually give 5 stars to books too much, but I gave this book a 5 stars because it was just amazing. Like I said, through the whole book, I was just really impressed with just the atmosphere of how he wrote this. Like I said, the first half was alright. I didn't mind it. I thought it was fine. But the second half, it was just, holy crap, this was just insane. And you get to just you really start questioning a lot of things in your life and just the afterlife, I guess. You question a lot of these things, and it makes you think, which I think is just such a cool thing, is it really lets you think about these aspects of life. Like, people are always doubt these things. A lot of people say, oh, it's not real. A lot of people don't believe in a lot of these evilness in the world, which it's like, to me, I do. I believe in all this stuff because it's like, there's a reason for it. It's not like a scientific reason. And that's what I like with these books, just because these books really push the envelope that it might not just be science. And I think that's such an interesting way to put about this book. And that's why I really do like this book. Like, this might be my favorite horror book of all time because it's just so impactful, so powerful, the messaging behind it is. And yes, it is a religious book. It is. It talks about God. It's with demons and it's with Satan and all this stuff. But like, you should go in expecting that because it's like, that'd be weird if you didn't. It would just make no sense if you ask me. But all in all, this book was great. I would recommend everyone checking this book out. Like, seriously, like during Halloween time, fall time, whatever, I would read it whenever. It was so good. And I'm actually on the hunt of trying to get a first edition. So if you guys want, you should just like hook me up with one. Just saying. All in all, this book was great. I would recommend all you guys go check it out. It was awesome. I read it in, I think, 2 sittings, if I can remember. It was just so good. As soon as you get to the part when the old priest shows up, that's when I couldn't put the book down. It was just so damn good. It was good. If you made it to the end of the video, I do appreciate it. Make sure you guys check out all my links down below. And go check out The Exorcist. If you guys watch the movie, that's cool. But if you guys want to read the book, you should definitely read the book and then watch the movie, because why not? Make sure you guys check out all my links down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and of course, make sure you guys stay safe, stay hungry, and tell someone you love them. I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.